Here's the big headline that is making its rounds and people have a reaction on. And they always have a reaction on Lake Erie happening.
Well, yes.
On our Facebook pages, but this one in particular, Memorial Day fireworks are going to look way different at Lake of the Ozarks this weekend. You're used to the big ones. And everyone's like, why? Well, you guys told everybody in an article this last week. So Nathan, what's going on as these big lodging partners you look at? Margaritaville, the Lodge of Four Seasons, they've always had these massive fireworks shows that thousands and thousands, I want to note, people enjoy without spending a dollar at Margaritaville or Tantera, but they're not happening this year and people are furious.
Yeah, although I've seen some people happy. Because they're like, my dog doesn't sleep all night after that. So, there's mixed results. But yes, people love the
10% or less the dogs, right.
But no, the short answer is the lodging tax. That's what we got when we called. Not every one of these places said that was the reason. There probably were some that didn't say it, but that still is the reason. We talked to several of the large venues that have fireworks on Memorial Day, and because they're not getting the lodging tax revenue, as you know, the lodging tax was kind of like powered down after the court decision, and so there's no more lodging tax dollars flowing to those guys, and those paid for several of the big fireworks shows around the lake. So they're not gonna be there. There's really only, from what we could tell, I'm sure there'll be some other ones here and there, but like 2 major fireworks shows if you want to go see them at the lake, and they're going to be at Bear Bottom.
Yeah, Saturday the 24th, Bear Bottoms. They do that at about dusk,
Yep, right.
And
then at Celebration Cruises down at the dam, and that is on
the 25th.
The 25th, yeah, Sunday night.
So those are your 2 options right now. And like we said, we saw a lot of people saying, hey, well, just because you don't have the tax dollars doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. But that's interesting because the complaint was our taxpayer dollars shouldn't be going to fireworks. But that was an interesting case made. I talked to Matt Sutcliffe. He owns Premier Pyrotechnics. Right. He does hundreds of fireworks shows across the state of Missouri each year. And he said, I would just want to tell you that 80% of all the fireworks shows that we do are contracted from cities, states, government entities, and that it's almost always taxpayer dollars that would pay for something like that. And I started to wonder, do people really expect Margaritaville and Tantera and those resorts to foot the bill for that?
Right.
It is a little unfair because I started to think, how many of the people on the water and by their own cove that enjoy that or go on land are staying there spending money with those places.
Right.
And so I just found it interesting, but it is going to look different this year.
Oh, yeah.
They are not going to be...
And not just Memorial Day. I mean, this is all summer, right? There will be some fireworks at July 4th and some at Labor Day, but just because they happened there last year, I would say don't assume that you can just go to that place and they'll be there this year, because they very well likely will not be there. So check that. I'm sure you guys will be talking about it. We'll be talking about it at Lake Expo. Updating folks on that, because there was even at least one place that said they didn't know yet if they were going to have them July 4th or not. So don't just assume. That's the main thing, that they're going to be there this year because they were last year. So there's a lot of changes on the fireworks front. And yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be really disappointed. We're
going to see more side effects than I think people realize from the disbanding of the Tri-County Lodging Association, and whether people, which I was not always on board with some of the spends, and I think that was a great question that was raised, but without getting those matching funds from the state of Missouri tourism, some of this stuff's going to go away. And not only that, but some of our marketing, in other places. So I think this is just the start. And as you alluded to, 4th of July going to look differently. Yep. Matt Sutcliffe confirmed that said he has no 4th of July day contracted gigs, and he did he does numerous crews all across the lake 4th of July and across the state of Missouri. And as far as Lake of the Ozarks are concerned right now, he has 0 on the books.
Okay.